Hi, I realize I don't usually do intros or anything like that in my videos. I don't really like stuff like that. I just get so in the moment. I'm trying to jump right into the juice and the meat, play around and splash around in it. So for this one, I'll take it a little slower and ease into the content. Like, and subscribe. TikTok is a great place for conspiracy theories and antisocial paranoia. Keep scrolling, grandma. That's good for your brain. She loves to see it. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? But the natural conclusion to a lot of conspiracy-minded thinking is inevitable government shutdown, societal breakdown, in which case you're gonna need a lot of ketchup and mustard for that scenario. Doomsday preppers are my favorite kind of American consumer. The kind of person that thinks, if a nuclear bomb was detonated in America, how much Spam would last you until it got better? I don't know.
Yes, this type of stuff does expire, but those expiration dates are just recommended dates, really. These things last years.
Like, if you're prepping for government shutdown, I feel like the smarter decision would be to leave instead of staying with all your cans of beans. I think I'd be okay dying if I got hit with a nuke. I don't know if, I found out a nuke was coming, I'd be like, maybe if I got into a bunker with 100 years worth of dry eggs, maybe I'll pull through. No, I don't think I'll pull through. If the Fortnite store isn't updating anymore, there's no point. Take me out, it's fine. Of course, it's valid to have a stockpile of emergency supplies and first aid for things like power outages, weather emergencies, or whatever. But the American brain is fitted for maximum consumption, so that rational and instinctual feeling to have some extra supplies around gets amplified by 1,000. Not to mention it's all fueled by extreme paranoia, and it's not really about safety or reassurance, it's insurance for when the government collapses or makes woke mandatory, whichever comes first. Then I'll have all the canned corn I'll ever need. There were a lot of conspiracy theories about the eclipse that happened a couple months ago. Full eclipses like that are rare, so of course people had a lot of conspiracy theories and superstitions about what was going to happen, and nothing did. I like this setup at night. I could sit in the back and I'd be like the shadow man. That's what happens during the eclipse, actually. So whether it was to capitalize on the trend or also share in the paranoia, Doomsday preppers were also, prepping for whatever might happen. NASA is testing out their new ray gun that turns you into gay.
If you're worried about the 2024 solar eclipse, these are some items I feel you should be stockpiling. Number one is going to be a bug out bag with various survival items. You should also have a way of communication, because if communication gets knocked out, you're going to want some walkie-talkies. Emergency blanket and some paracord. If you're worried about an EMP, some EMP defense bags by Faraday Defense. You're also going to want a food supply. I got a 1-month food supply by ReadyWise, along with a 14-day and a bunch of August and Farms, some water. And last but not least, for the last item I'm going to show you, I actually built myself a solar battery backup. So I have my solar panels out in the backyard, and this powers almost everything in this office right now.
What does any of this stuff have to do with the eclipse? Solar generator. Solar's not out. Covered up by the moon. These are just a few items that you should have already. Just a few things, like, build your own battery for your solar generator for your room, for your house. Build that. I'm all for building stuff in your house and doing, like, home improvement stuff and DIY projects to make yourself more sustainable or whatever. But don't act like this is, like, prepping for anything specific. It's just a bunch of random junk. Hashtag EMP, hashtag blackout, hashtag power outage.
I'm a prepper. Of course I have a ton of stuff I'll probably never need. I'm a prepper. Of course I got tons of powdered eggs and powdered milk and ReadyWise products. I'm a prepper. I have a tactical fishing backpack and I don't even like to fish. I'm a prepper. Of course I have solar panels in almost every room in my house, including the kids' toy room, along with a Jackery Explorer and a portable fridge. I'm a prepper. Of course I have 2 broken microwaves I use as EMP protection.
At what point are you not prepping and instead you're just a guy that likes to buy stuff? He had a fishing backpack. He doesn't even like to fish. He's prepping for the end of the world by making his house a literal loot drop.
Prepping's fun, and there's nothing wrong with being prepared, so don't let anyone make you feel like you're crazy, because you're not. You're smart and prepared. Nothing wrong with that.
I Okay, sure, man. There's nothing wrong with that. You're smart and prepared. I have 17 generators and my kid's room has solar panels that are just collecting dust in there. Don't let anyone feel like you're crazy. Don't let anyone feel like you're wasting money.
Storing your communication is very important. Storing your electronics and your communication devices inside of a phone shield, which is a Faraday bag designed to protect your devices from an EMP, is very important. I store my devices inside the Faraday bag. I take my 2 handheld devices that are now EMP protected and I place them inside of a Freedom Seed container to store them in a well-organized...
God, it's all just buying stuff. Project Darkness phone EMP phone bag. All for a hypothetical situation that is impossible to even test for. The bag works against EMP. EMP bag. You ever hear of it? If you don't know, EMP is electromagnetic pulse, which would cause a blackout. Theoretically, this bag would protect your phone from getting damaged and destroyed in the blackout, even though cell towers probably would. So your phone would basically be useless. You got a freaking sweet calc on there, though.
Bags are designed to block out all wireless signals, EMPs, all the things that could go wrong, they protect from. EMPs are completely possible to happen in our world.
EMPs are completely possible to happen in our world. This is why not everyone can work in sales.
All the things that could go wrong, they protect from.
All the things that can happen, it protects from. Will they happen?
EMPs are completely possible to happen in our world. Sadly, that is where we are at now.
This is like it's all such a scam. Why is it called Mission Darkness?
So having a way to protect them so that we can still have communication in the long run is very important to our family.
Oh, now it's about your fucking family. Okay, lady.
If you're not stockpiling these items for an SHTF scenario, you might want to start.
Yeah, stockpile money. By SHTF, he means shit hitting the fan.
Part of prepping for an SHTF scenario, in my opinion, is going to be stockpiling gold and silver. I got 5 and 10 gram gold bars right here. And if you're wondering why I say doing this is important, think about it for a second. If you had to leave whatever country you're in because of what situation that country's in, right? If you go to one that is safe and still functioning, you'll be able to carry this wealth with you and sell it when you get there to help get started. Plus, if you don't plan on bugging out, you could always try and use this for a bartering and trading tool. So I highly recommend picking some up.
The name of this account is Storm Prep. How does this help you in a storm? And then like an apocalypse situation, I feel like gold is the worst thing. No one's gonna want that. You bought a hilariously small amount of gold. If you told me you had gold in the apocalypse and showed me this, I'd be like, really? I thought you were talking about treasure. Bro saved up 35 bucks in gold? 35? Try much more. Look up the price per gram. Wait, it's $74 a gram.
I got 5 and 10 gram gold bars right here.
So 740, 700. Hang on, let me get the calc.
As well as in smaller portions in 1 gram increments.
This is like $2,000 of gold. Like even still in the apocalypse, $2,000 in Joe Biden's America. I feel like buying all the dried eggs is smarter than the little shrivels of gold.
Let's prep at the Dollar Tree. The solar rechargeable lights are perfect.
The contrast of her like running into the Dollar Tree.
Let's prep at the Dollar Tree.
Who's chasing her? And then she's immediately in there as quiet as possible. So these are my lights that I like to get.
I also prep for my dogs and I get puppy pads just in case they're not allowed to go outside, to go to the bathroom in any kind of emergency. And yes, I pick up dog waste bags. Don't come for me, but I ain't nasty and I'm not gonna have dogs go to the bathroom in my house in an emergency situation and live in their filth. When prepping for my kids,
Who's coming at her for buying dog bags? That and the puppy pads were like the first pieces of advice I've seen that I'm like, yeah, actually that's smart. Most people don't think about their pets when they're prepping. She's like, don't come for me. Never put an empty jar back on the shelf. Always just fill it with water. Don't even drink it. Just save it for later. That's so many very specific amounts of water. What do you do with that? A nice beverage? Grab it. Yeah, this is a life hack. If you fill jars with water, they are full of water and you can have them.
I was out shopping, you guys already know. I got my whole water. That's one thing that's, I got all my water.
God.
I'm ready.
That's so much water. It's too much water.
I got my
Dude,
propane
there's
heater.
more.
We have our masks. We have our rice.
Why did he cut after he said masks? What did you say, Augustus? What were you saying about masks that you had to cut out?
Fucking all of our noodles. We have all a bunch of
There's
the,
more water back there. There's so much.
beans, ravioli for my daughter. We have a whole bunch of medication, a little bit of everything, guys. Germix. We have.
Oh my God. It's all Dasani. Does this guy work at the Dasani factory where they make that dog shit water? I think this guy is the worst prepper imaginable. He just filled his house with garbage. This water is less than useless.
I call this my safe room. Unfortunately, guys, but yes, you guys saw this morning what happened with this, with the internet going out all over it wasn't a chaos, but thank God it wasn't a chaos.
Wait, what happened this morning? The internet went out? This is from February. I don't know what that was. I mean, it wasn't a chaos, so maybe that's why I didn't hear about it.
But I mean, unfortunately, my safe room is loaded and we're ready for any kind of disaster that could happen.
So far, these preppers are not very good at prepping. I'm gonna be real.
So I think we all know a doomsday prepper.
Oh God, why does her face move like that?
So I think we all know a doomsday prepper.
I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors.
Why younger Americans are stockpiling supplies ahead of the 2024 election. Society unraveling. Look at that. Gen Z is catching on after all. Just read this blurb. Doomsday prepping is seeping into the mainstream as Americans of all ages and political persuasions are becoming increasingly worried ahead of the 2024 presidential election about the prospect of a civil war.
Why is Brett Cooper trying to spin this like, Gen Z is becoming conservative by prepping for conservative violence in the wake of the election? You think the Joe Biden death squads are going to be out in force in November? You got to prep for those, for the woke pronoun police to bust down your door. 1984. Joe Biden be the president no more. I also feel like I need to discuss this very strange phenomenon I see in mainstream news that whenever something is on TikTok, it is now Gen Z is doing this. It's exactly what happened with millennials. Millennials are killing the avocado toast market. Gen Z is prepping for violence ahead of the 2024 election. They're scared.
Was once associated with libertarian extremists. Hello. But as a rematch between President Biden and his predecessor, former President Donald Trump, seems all but inevitable in 2024, prepping has become a bipartisan activity, according to a Monday USA Today report. How comforting. We're all in this together. That's one thing we can be unified about.
Brett Cooper's constant portrayal of herself is like, I'm just like you guys. We're all the same, you know. You're literally on the side of the guy who people are afraid of. Thanks, news mommy. That person's going to hell.
Quote, on the left, you have people afraid that Trump is going to declare himself dictator of the United States, and people on the left are going to end up as targets in some sort of authoritarian system. On the right, it's general malaise and a fear of society unraveling. They point to these smash and grab robberies, riots, and protests. Somebody commented and said, it's amazing to listen to them describe what Trump will do when they are already doing it.
Breaking news. Brett Cooper has announced that Joe Biden has declared himself dictator. That's a great way of dodging everything that article said. I mean, obviously she's not reading really any of it. She's reading 2 sentences and then reading a comment and being like, yeah, that comment really got it right. It is the comment section with butt pooper after all.
I'm not worried about people stealing my stock of food in a disaster because I'll be in the streets talking with neighbors and making sure everybody has what they need. Leftist prepping believes that community is at the core of any successful disaster preparedness.
And that's it. There it is. That is the leftist prepper, the altruistic prepper. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble, even though that is a very nice and lovely idea. But if you leave your house in the middle of an apocalypse with arms full of food singing Kumbaya, you probably will not live to see another day. And it's just such a hilarious thought that the right is the one that goes straight to violence when the left just really wants everybody to be happy and get along. But what have we seen so far from the left when they aren't happy about something? Rioting, smash and grabs, looting, destruction.
So what are right-wing preppers prepping for? The apocalypse or protests? Protests where the cops are inciting the violence, by the way. I also love that Brett Cooper has to make the leftist prepper seem naive and delusional by changing the entire pretense of the conversation. Real sly move there from Butt Pooper. Because that prepper was talking about natural disaster, a fire, a hurricane, a flood, like a real thing that happened. But Pooper moves to, well, that wouldn't work in the apocalypse. Looks like leftism failed yet again. And like, of course, Brett Cooper's like that. Brett Cooper doesn't have any sense of community. She's a lapdog to the elite. And that position gives her enough ability to afford her own protection to not need to worry about her community or even have one at all. It's like the definition of privilege. But yes, the industry plant Ben Shapiro clone has a lot to say about the viability of community-based disaster relief. Oh, Butt Pooper, how witty you are. Potassium iodide for nuclear war. Don't forget the FDA dosage for potassium iodide. It's only $14. I feel like this attitude really came about in the aftermath of COVID when people were realizing that you can buy wholesale like horse paste. You could buy dewormer from the feed store and take it for your COVID. Yeah, you could take meds for whatever, whenever you want. But, you know, Housewife Prepper wants you to know that even if you live paycheck to paycheck, you can still be a prepper by buying, you know, potassium iodide and a bunch of other random junk you find at AutoZone. The gas shutoff tool is only $4. It's just whatever you find at the self-checkout at the AutoZone, literally. Folding shovel? What is that prepping for? To dig? Emergency water access key? Okay, that makes sense at least. What does Walmart know that we don't? Is something going to happen before the elections? Be prepared for what's to come. 428 buckets. What do they know that we don't? You could put water in a plastic now. Things you'll find in someone's house who doesn't trust Big Farm. Reverse osmosis filter to filter out pharmaceuticals. In the water? Putting the estrogen in the water, making the frogs gay. Filter that out. And the fluoride and fecal matter. Yeah, liberals are putting gay doo-doo water in your tap water. How do you feel about that? That's Big Pharma for you. Why did she show her nasty air filter? Maybe prep the air filter before you turn the camera on. It's disgusting. Sorry, Rife Machine treats and clears different viruses, infections, and cancer using similar frequencies of those illnesses. Oh yeah, it puts the frequencies in you. The frequency of cancer? Yeah, based on the principles and science of frequencies, cancer has a frequency, and then the, you know, Matt Rife machine comes in and it undoes the frequency of the cancer. It goes because it's at the same frequency, and you can't have the negative and a negative. Yeah, that's how diseases work. Different viruses, infections, and cancer. Yeah, I don't trust Big Pharma. I trust my Matt Rife machine vibrating the frequency of the cancer into me. Is that what the guy was using in the beginning? Is that why he looks like he's dying? Getting blasted in the red sauna. I'm being healed. It's the same frequency as cancer. Oh, there's even an AI generated one. Thank God.
Here are the top 5 strategies to secure, store, and collect water when society's river runs dry. Number 1. Create a water bank and filtration system.
Create a filtration system. This is exactly what would happen. Hey, ChatGPT, how do I survive? How do I collect water in the wilderness? Step 1, build a desalinization plant and take it from the ocean.
Next and critical, for each gallon of water stored, add 1/8 teaspoon of bleach. This ensures up to 5 years of shelf life for your water, and don't worry, it's a safe amount, and you're going to filter that out before you drink it.
Yeah, or instead of doing any of this, you could buy a bunch of Dasani water bottles and fill a whole room with them instead of this. You don't need any bleach for that. Also, why is it a skeleton drinking? That doesn't tell me that the water is safe. He's a skeleton. That guy died.
Have a reliable vehicle and manageable containers ready. A robust gas-powered pump, coupled with a pre-filter, is ideal for minimizing debris.
That's like a car air filter. That wouldn't work at all.
For those without a pump, traditional submerging techniques are a fallback and have worked for a millennia.
By traditional submerging techniques, does he mean filling a bowl with water? I love AI. Yeah, their intelligence is artificial, ain't it? This video is the doomsday that you should have prepped for.
Install a comprehensive gutter system leading to large storage tanks and integrating a first flush diverter system to catch debris as it comes into your collection system.
Yeah, just first flush diverter system, install that just to prepare. Why is it all skeleton?
Once collected, store, and then process this water through your filtration system at your water bank. Number 4, a sandpoint well, the simple yet effective groundwater solution. This project could be a game changer for your survival and potential limitless source for water.
Well, I guess building a well on your property is the ultimate form of prepping because you just have water. Build a house, and then you're prepared for any situations in which you would need a house. There's a reasonable amount of prepping that you can do, but I think a lot of people have no sense of boundaries when it comes to how much they can consume. Like, you don't have to buy everything for every possible scenario. It's wasteful and bad to do. But you know, foldable shovel is only $4. You can be prepared for anything you would need that for. So who am I to judge? Anyway, that's as much prepping as I've prepared myself for. You're not prepared for another video if you're not hitting the subscribe button and the like button too. You have to hit both or it doesn't work. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.